like the rushing of a mighty wind, like the rushing of a mighty wind.
I guess that's kind of what we're here to talk about, because my initial question is, how do you explain, if we're not African, or if you guys are not African, how do you explain the fact that 100% of y'all that take a DNA test gets genetic matches in Africa? And according to what you're saying, if what you're saying is true, then all FBA would kind of go back to this one guy that you claim, or those 25. I don't know if it's 1 or 25. You said
25 brought here. 25 Africans were brought here. Yeah, only one stage. So y'all 23, would all be... 23 ran away. 2 were set free, and 1 was sold into slavery. 25 Africans, only 1 sold into slavery. 23 ran away. Right. But go ahead.
So if DNA results are reliable, then, you guys, given that all of y'all that take the test gets matches in Africa, then you would all have gone through that one guy. Which is ridiculous. Yeah, which is ridiculous. Yeah. So so it's either the tests are reliable, and there were a lot of tests. I mean, not tests. A lot of African slaves here, which is what just makes more sense to me. Or the tests are not reliable, and there were no Africans here. And so the question for me was, are those tests reliable?
So stop right there. I'm going to give you the same answer as I gave you before. Check it out. I'm going to give you a scientific
idea that this is scientific. Right? They're really trying to push the idea that this is scientific, right? They are using scientific language, and they present it in a way that looks very sciencey and precise.
Caulfield says what people are really buying is entertainment.
I think it's recreational science.
So if you want to believe in recreational science, you want to believe in entertainment, like I said before, go ahead. I'm not stopping you. But I would never base my life, my thought life, my physical life on scientific entertainment, fantasy. But you can go ahead. I'm not saying you should not. If you want to base your life on something that people like this say,
right? They are using scientific language, and they present it in a way that looks very sciencey and precise.
Caulfield says what people are really buying is entertainment.
I think it's recreational science. They can have a little bit of fun with this stuff. Don't take it too seriously, but know that you're just getting some information that is an approximation of how your DNA compares to other people. It's not tracing back your heritage.
There you go. It's not tracing back our lineage. So if you want to base your life on something that's not tracing back your lineage, go ahead.
So I asked ChatGPT, and I can read it, but I've already said it. ChatGPT says 100% of Black Americans that take the DNA test have an average of 73 to 75% African genetic matches.
Yeah, I agree.
And they have less than 1% Native American matches.
Yeah,
right.
I believe that. Yeah.
Right. So since you believe that, I won't spend the time reading that. So the next thing that I was interested in is whether, like you said, whether or not.
Well, hang on. The only reason, I agree with what you just said, but you heard the scientists. This is entertainment. This is scientific,
right.
recreational.
You don't have to play.
I'm not gonna play it again. All I care about, again, as you continue, can you or they prove for a fact we come from Africa? Because American Dream, I would tell you now, if scientists came up or historians prove, hey, we got the proof, you guys come from Africa. Yeah, you Americans, the descendants of shadow slaves, we got the smoking gun. It's right here. It's a fact. You cannot deny it any longer. You come from Africa. You know what I'm going to say? We come from Africa. I can't deny reality. If they bring me reality, that's like, this is empirical, bro. You can't condemn this. This is a smoking gun. So it can't be done. But if they did it, then I would say, damn, this sucks. but we're Africans. But they can't do it. Why? Because we don't come from Africa. Because this is how I know we don't come from Africa. Because if we came from Africa, then Africa would be like another America. If we came from them, we would be the same people. So they would be doing the same thing we have done. And they would do it better because they have the most resources. America doesn't have as much resources as Africa. So if we're all the same people and we built America, the richest, most dopest country in human history, and laced it with the dopest culture, then Africa should be a beacon for the world. They should just be another level because they got diamonds and gold and cobalt and everything else. Africa having the most resources on the earth and us having very little resources. So yeah, well, we built America. Everything we built the founding fathers. We built the White House. We built the Capitol.
It would make sense, right? If you didn't build America, according to your logic, if you didn't build America and your ancestry comes from Africa, it would make sense because according to you, Africa hasn't built anything. So if you didn't build America,
exactly, yeah. If we didn't build,
if you didn't build America,
that would make sense.
A lot of people think you didn't. Then it would make sense that you come from Africa.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Your logic.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, that would make sense.
So I asked ChatGPT, how reliable are DNA ancestry results? Because your main argument against this whole thing is that they're not reliable. It's just for entertainment.
Well, that's what scientists say, bro. That's what 23andMe. Hang on, but that's what 23andMe says.
You about to repeat yourself again?
No, but hang on.
30th time?
No, listen. That's what.
As soon as I start, you cut me off to repeat yourself.
No, I'm gonna let you finish. But 23andMe says the same thing.
I know you said that.
But go ahead. Go ahead.
100 times.
Well, 23andMe says it's an estimate.
Let me just read what ChatGPT says though. It says DNA ancestry results are useful but not absolute. Their reliability depends on several scientific and technical factors. Let me break it down. And it says the science behind it. DNA testing companies, Ancestry, 23andMe, compare your DNA with reference populations, groups of people whose ancestry in a given region is well documented. The closer your DNA segments are to those references, the more likely they are assigned to that region. For recent ancestry within the last 3 to 5 generations, DNA tests are fairly good at confirming continental ancestry. Example, African versus European versus Asian. And then it goes into reliability by level. I'm going to be done real soon. It's very short. So if you could just
go ahead, but notice you said more likely. Again, they're guessing, but continue.
Sure. Reliability by level. The first level is continent level ancestry: African, European, Asian, Native American. It says this level is very reliable, usually 95 to 99% accurate. The next level is regional ancestry, and that's whether you come from West Africa versus East Africa. And it says that is moderately reliable. And it depends on how many DNA samples companies have from that area. West African regions are often harder to distinguish because groups there share close genetic similarities. The next level is country-specific ancestry: Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, etc. And it says that is less reliable. National borders are modern and don't always reflect historic population movements. Nigerian DNA could overlap heavily with Cameroon, Benin, or Ghana. And the last level is ethnic or tribal ancestry: Igbo, Akan, Yoruba, etc. And it says that's not reliable. Current technology can't consistently separate DNA into such specific ethnic groups. Some companies like African Ancestry try, but results should be taken cautiously. So, as far as this whole, it's just for entertainment purposes, I can see, to reconcile the fact that it's useful and that it can be seen as entertainment, I can see where if you're going into it and the reason you're trying to get your DNA taken or the test taken, if your reason is because you want to find out whether you're an Igbo or a Khan, and you want to know exactly what tribe you come from, or even what country in Africa you come from, that is just for entertainment purposes. And when they tell you Nigerian, this and that, and you go out and you know what I mean, move to Nigeria, start sending money to Nigeria, that may be, because that's not so reliable. The entertainment purposes may come in on those levels. But as far as what we're talking about here in terms of the continent level ancestry, that is very reliable, whether or not you come from Africa, Asia, Europe, or you're native to America. That, according to ChatGPT, is 95 to 99% reliable. And that's the only DNA testing that we're talking about here when we're talking about whether Black Americans are Africans. That's just the continent level. And according to 100% of Black Americans that take that test, 100% of them go to continental level, the reliable level, not the entertainment level. The reliable level says they come from Africa. And so, you would kind of have to explain that. And it can't just be, oh, that's for entertainment, because it's not. You know what I mean? And that would have to be taken into consideration. And you cannot just, ignore it and say it's meaningless when all of y'all are 100% on the reliable level.
Okay, I'm still going to give you a scientist that talks about just what you're talking about, ancestry tests.
Companies are really trying to push the idea
Wait,
that this
is that the same? Is that the
right?
same scientist?
They are using scientific language, and they present it in a way that looks very sciencey and precise.
Caulfield says what people are really buying is entertainment.
I think it's recreational science. They can have a little bit of fun with this stuff. Don't take it too seriously.
Yeah, don't take it too seriously. So you can believe ChatGPT. I'm going to believe a real scientist. So that's my calling. I'm not saying you can believe ancestry tests. You can believe ChatGPT. I'll believe a real scientist that says, yo, man, this is all entertainment, bro. So I'm not going to debate you on it. I'm going to say, you American dream, the Jamaican, want to believe ancestry tests at any level? Go ahead. But I'm going to take the scientist's word. And I could bring up scientist after scientist after scientist. They all say the same thing. Bro, you can't trust this stuff, bro.
So let me ask you a question.
So you can believe it, but no.
Do you believe that if you were to take your DNA, have you ever taken your DNA test?
Nah, they ain't.
Do you think that, given that you agree that 100% of Black Americans that take it goes to Africa, do you think that yours would go to Africa?
Yeah, I'm sure it would. Yeah, I'm sure a percentage would.
Right.
Ron said 30-some% of his come from
Ron
Germany.
Said
30-some% of his DNA comes
Ron
from Germany.
admitted that he's German, and so he's a foundational German American, if you ask me.
Yeah. So but again, I told you
that's what he said. He said if we're looking at DNA, he's more German than African.
He says it all the time. He said it the other night. But my thing is this. I've been to court quite a few times, and I'm suing the IRS because the IRS owes me $30,000, and they're not giving me my money, so I got to sue them too. And what I know about going to court is this: you have to prove your case beyond a reason of a doubt. You have to prove what you're saying, or nobody's going to listen to you. And so these 23andMe, whatever, you can keep using ChatGPT, but you can't prove we come from Africa. Like, you can't use ChatGPT in court. You cannot use it in scholarly debates. You can't even use it on
court. I'm not in court with you.
Yeah,
but court. I'm using it here.
Yeah, no, but court becomes very important because you're trying to lead people into believing things about themselves. That's extremely important. See, if you were talking about believing things that don't really matter, like, hey, there's aliens and it's fun, and let's talk about Bigfoot and it's just fun. Yeah, okay, fine. But if you tell me to base
can I just say something?
No, but hang on. If you tell me to base my life on something, now you got to prove it. You see, if it's just entertainment, then I'm like, yeah, cool. I will, like, yeah, Bigfoot. Okay, there might be Bigfoot and Sasquatch one, whatever. Yeah, it might be some Martians. But if you say base my life on it, now I'm gonna stop and go, no, now you got to prove it. If we're talking entertainment, you don't got to prove anything. Yeah, it's entertainment. But if you're gonna tell me, hey, man, Mr. USA, you should base your life on this, that you're African now, and teach your kids that, and now all bets are off. Either you prove it or shut up. Now, if we're talking entertainment, I will enjoy any talk of anything entertainment. But if you're telling me and my people to base their life on it, now I'm going to say prove it or you got nothing. And you can't prove it. And that's why I say you got nothing. Because if you could prove it, then I would be forced to say, okay, I am African. So, and ChatGPT is not a source. You can't use it in scholarly debates. You can't even use it on a term paper. My little daughter can't even use ChatGPT for her homework. Her ELI teacher said you cannot use ChatGPT. She's just a little kid, elementary kid, and the teacher's like, you can't use AI as a source. And they say what I said, you can use AI and hit the links, and if it links to a legitimate source, you can cite that source. But my little daughter's a little girl, and she can't even use it as a kid. Well, I'm a grown ass man. How am I going to use something that even a little kid in elementary can't use? That's crazy. But if you want to do that for your life and your family, base your life on something that even elementary kids can't use, and you're going to base your life on that, then go ahead. To me, that sounds nonsensical, crazy, but go ahead. Ron does it. I say the same thing to Ron.
Yeah,
it's nonsensical.
I think you pretty much wouldn't, you said nobody can prove it, but I think you just won't accept any proof that you see at all.
No, you haven't given me proof. You haven't. You haven't given me proof. Right. See, we are Americans, the only Americans. We come from America. We built America. So you're going to have to move me from that position. See, because what I would say to you, American Dream, my mother and father all said we come from these native tribes and the so-called blacks here. My grandparents said the same thing. We come from these tribes here, Cherokee and all these tribes and the natives that were here. Not one of my family members said we come from Africa. Not one. And I can go around the world. I can go around America and the vast majority of us say the same thing. Like, yeah, my mother and father, grandparents said the same thing. How is it that we're all saying the same thing throughout 50 states? We're all saying the same thing, that natives and these so-called blacks that were here. We all say, no one's mentioning Africans. That came from the white man.
Do you think if the average Native American today were to take that same 23andMe DNA, do you think it would place him in Africa or in Europe or in America as a Native American?
No, it would.
Has it been doing?
No, I've seen them.
No, in Native America or
no, it's been placed. No, Asia.
The same way.
No, these natives have been taken. Asia. Yeah, this one native person took a DNA test, and he came on Twitter and said, "Yo, I'm 90% Asian." Like, holy cow!
Do you think that's correct? Do you think it correctly places them in Asia?
I don't know. I know he's not.
Do you think it
native.
correctly places? The average. If I was to put in, I think it would also say the same way it says 100% of blacks that do it go to Africa. I think it'll say 100% of whites that do it go to Europe somewhere. Do you think when it puts all whites in Europe, do you think that's correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you can trace their genealogy.
It's correct in putting all whites in Europe, because it's incorrect in putting all blacks to Africa?
Because listen, because all white people, their paper trail, genealogy, leads to Europe. See, here's the thing I was looking into last week. And
but your paper trail goes to Africa as well.
No, our paper trail of genealogy begins in America. You know that. It does not go to Africa. Europeans, their paper trail goes to Europe. Our paper trail begins in America.
There are records in the there are transatlantic records that of sales from Africa into the diaspora. So that is paper trail as well. So your paper trail does go back to Africa as well.
Look at
right? So
okay.
Hang
on. I'm not gonna let you lie. This is Henry Louis Gates. Our paper trail begins in America. Our genealogy begins in America. Look at your screen. I'm giving you Henry Louis Gates, who believes we're African. Henry Louis Gates would tell you we come from Africa, but yet he will tell you it's a brick wall. Our genealogy begins in America.
Then why does he say we come from Africa?
He was sold the lie too. Why did our ancestors?
So he believes. Wait, but that doesn't make no sense.
What doesn't make any sense? Go ahead.
The fact that he believes the lie, but you're using him to prove your point.
Yeah, you know why I'm using him? Because he believes we come from Africa. That makes my case 100%, and it douses his case, because I'm using somebody who believes we come from Africa. See, if I use someone who believes we're the natives, then that wouldn't count as much, because all you would say is, well, the guy you sourced believes you come from the natives, so of course he's going to end up being you guys are the natives.
You're using someone who believes we come from Africa to prove we don't come from Africa.
Don't you get how that?
Is that what you're doing?
Yes. Don't you get how that bolsters me 1,000% and douses him 1,000%? No, because you're third world, bro.
Like you're misusing his work,
bro.
You're misrepresenting his work, and I wouldn't be surprised because you misrepresent the OMB stuff.
Okay, you need to stop. You need to stop, bro. I want you to show me how I'm misusing this. Go ahead. I got everything up.
If he believes,
no, he believes. Okay, this is why Jamaica, beautiful people, but third world. You're literally defeating yourself, American Dream. The moment you say he believes, that's proof he can't prove it. You don't understand that the moment you open your mouth, you're done. The moment you say, well, he believes, it's over. People believe God, Jesus, Muhammad. They believe all these things. You don't understand that, American Dream. This is why all you guys come from third world countries. You think you're so smart, but you're not. You're just dumb. Because if you were smart, you would know the moment that you said he believes, you would shut up and go, well, damn, he believes, but that's not proof. You can't go to court with I believe. When you go to court, you have to prove empirically this person did it or they walk free. You can't stand in front of the judge and go, well, I believe he did it. What proof you got? I don't got any legitimate proof, but I believe. Get the fuck out of here and let this man go free. Like, this is frustrating. You literally said he believes. It's over. You have to say this is proof.
Can I respond?
Yes.
Okay. The reason he believes what he believes is because of his work. He believes what he believes based on his work, the same way everybody else does. Everybody has beliefs. If you think Charles Darwin doesn't have beliefs, you're mistaken. But he has beliefs based on his work. And you can't use his work to disprove his beliefs. Like, that's ridiculous. What you're doing is ridiculous.
And this is why you come from a third world
This
country.
is why you come from a third world community.
I come from a first world country, bro. The richest, most powerful
Which
nation.
Native
in
American community is first
one of
Which
my
Native American
tribes is
first
Cherokee. One is Cherokee. But
Cherokee
you,
first world. The
yeah,
Cherokee is the first world.
We're the first world
buddy.
country. This is why Jamaica is third world. You don't you just talk gibberish.
And you just, all you do is talk like Ron. Now you're getting into
American Dream.
Putting me in the
listen
back,
to me. American Dream. Yes, because you can't Okay, no, I see why the Caribbean's third world, Africa's third world, Latin American third world. You can't understand simple concept. You can't understand that if you want to defeat somebody, you use their measurement, their criteria to defeat them. You don't understand that. You're like, I don't understand. Yeah, this is why the Caribbean's third world, because you don't understand. Anybody who understands, they were like, yeah, that's what you do, American Dream. You use their criteria to destroy them. That's how you do it. You don't understand that simple concept, that you use somebody else's criteria to prove that they're wrong. That's how you really demolish somebody. There's two ways to demolish people: to go against them and demolish them, but the best way is to join them and use their criteria to destroy them. I'm using his own criteria. Our ancestry genealogy begins in America. That destroys his whole African, we come from Africa, because he himself can't prove it. That destroys him because he believes we come from Africa, but he says our genealogy begins in America. Okay, then you lost, Henry Louis Gates.
Why does he say our genealogy begin in America?
Look at your screen. That's him. Henry Louis Gates and his team made that. Henry Louis Gates says there's something called the brick wall for us and us alone. Our genealogy, our genealogy begins in America.
Right, so that means it's just cut off. They don't know where the rest of it. There's just no records. There are no records of it.
Exactly, which means what?
But the fact that there are no records of it
from
mean,
America.
No. Or they weren't keeping records in Africa. What the hell, bro? They don't have any other records.
Listen.
They started keeping records when the slaves came to America. That's when they started the record keeping.
Hey, American Dream, listen. If you cannot prove we come from another source, then the default position is we're the natives.
That's
you have
ridiculous,
to prove,
bro. You're being
no,
ridiculous.
no. This is why you come from a third world country. I come from a first world country.
Bro,
No,
just because there are no records doesn't mean that you don't have ancestors. Like in your head, you think, oh, there are no records of any other ancestors, so I don't have any other ancestors. My ancestry started right there with your great granddaddy. Like your great granddaddy just popped up out of the earth. Like you're ridiculous, bro.
I want you to listen very, very carefully.
Tell the youth them to be strong. You can't tell the youth them to preach wrongs. While you trod it on these lands, just remember every man is equal. Yeah. Each one teach one, and our Father God, him are the only done. So make we reason, smoke trees, span the ends, all the deep meds. Take a look at life, and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen, and it's no surprise. And I just, so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's a government, no have no heart, them no care about poor people. Yeah, bigger heads no love people again. Them worse than Hitler them. Me see friends now reason again. Vex through whistle a blame. More time it hurt me to see how the face deal with the eagle of them. Regular me see it a pain. Regular me see it a pain. Take a look at life and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen and it's no surprise. And I just, so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's a government, no have no heart, them no care about poor people. Social commentary. Drop the one, your principle, you don't know. The global will come and do it. Some people life every day, it's stress. The high price from JPS, that topic is currently. Jah alone, him a go help you. We need food, cause we no healthy. We are feel the pain, beg you protect we. In our life, we have no envy. Take a look at life, and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen, and it's no surprise. And I just, so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's a government, no have no heart, them no care about poor people.